Hello everyone, welcome to another Cheaters and Simp story. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please support our channel on Patreon. The link to our Patreon is in the description below. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Hello all. This might be quite long. I'm posting this from my friend's place, where I'll be for a few days at least before going to a hotel for a while. Unfortunately, I discovered that this sub exists after having something done to me that I never thought in a million years would ever happen. My wife of 3 years has been having an affair for a year with a colleague of hers. I found out through her Gmail account on her laptop, which was left logged in. I had zero intention of checking her email, I just saw it there and the text caught my eye. After this, I checked her phone, and confirmed everything. I'm not going to lie, this kind of blindsided me. We have a good relationship, we were regularly intimate, never really got angry at each other. We met in college and dated for almost 2 years before getting married. We were thinking of having kids in a year or two now that I have a good paying job and have been progressing in my career. I actually wasn't suspicious at all. She's intelligent, and clearly did well to cover her tracks. She never came home late at night, or acted distant cold with me, or not been intimate with me. Not once did she tell me she was feeling unsatisfied, or unhappy in our relationship. I had no idea anything was wrong at all, or I would have tried to fix it. Through her texts emails I saw that they usually got together during their lunch breaks, or they leave work early and go to a hotel motel. The other guy isn't married, but he does have a long-term girlfriend. Haven't told her yet, haven't spoken to the other guy either. I took the day off work yesterday, left a note on the table for my wife, and I left for my friend's place. Sure enough, when she got home, she texted several times. I didn't answer at first, but I did eventually, and she immediately started crying hysterically and pleading me for forgiveness, saying it was a stupid mistake and she will do anything to reconcile. We talked for a while, but I didn't really say anything of substance, and I haven't yet decided what I'm going to do. I'm not going to lie, I love her, but I can't stand betrayal of any kind, and this is up there. The thing is, when I was 18, I fell into a very dark depression and it was the hardest thing in the world to pull myself out of. Took me 3 years, the only thing that helped was exercise boxing. And now I feel myself slipping back in that hole. And as much as I love her, I also feel an intense hatred for her and the other guy. I'm debating confronting the other guy and badly hurting him, but my friend has insisted that I don't. I know my emotions are controlling me right now, which is why I wanted to be away from my wife and our apartment for a while so I can allow logic to at least get a foothold in my brain. I know if I see her crying, I'll start to feel sympathy for her, which I don't want to. Right now, my logical part says to divorce her, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I have thought about if I'll ever trust her again, and I think the answer is no. Here's the thing, I consider myself to be a fair person, and I always try to see both sides of the coin. I was looking around forums of infidelity, and I came across our adultery. I thought it would be similar to this sub, quickly found out it was the opposite. However, I read through a few posts, hoping I could try and understand my wife's reasoning. Most of the posts were about the thrill of something new, the sexual satisfaction, trying to escape the unhappiness in their marriage, etc. The thing is, I'm not just saying this, I can't see how we had any of those problems. My wife was always intelligent and mature, which is why no matter how hard I try, I can't understand this. She repeatedly told me over the phone that it meant nothing and she regrets it more than anything. But then, why do it? I asked her why and she just kept saying she doesn't know and it was a lapse in judgment, etc. A year-long lapse in judgment? I'm questioning everything now, wondering if I've wasted years for nothing, wondering if I'll ever trust another woman again. At the moment I can't see myself ever being in a relationship again. I'm not naive enough to think people are infallible, but what's the point of committing yourself to someone if you're just going to find someone else? Anyway, that's it. I had to let all this out somewhere, even online. Not sure yet what my next step is, but at the moment, I can't see the marriage lasting. Her mother, whom I really like, has called me thrice but I haven't answered. I haven't told anyone about it except my close friend that I'm staying with. I do have screenshots of the emails texts between them as proof in case I need it. Short version, wife had a year-long affair, I found out through email texts. Left a letter for her telling her everything, then left to stay with a friend. I haven't seen her yet. She is hysterical and pleading me to stay together and fix things, It's still too early for me to make a rational choice. I guess I'm just looking for input advice from older experienced people. Edit. Thanks for all your comments and time everyone, I really do appreciate it a lot. Few things that have come up repeatedly. I have decided not to fight the other guy, it was just my emotions getting the best of me at the time. I will be getting an STD test and telling her to do the same, no compromise there. At the moment I am leaning towards separating because I can't see how I will ever look at her the same way again. I still need some time to think and will have to have a long talk with her. Her mother has since messaged me asking to please call her. She is a very good person and was very motherly throughout my time knowing her, so I will be calling her to talk to her soon. Really, thanks to all of you. I actually hate that there are so many comments because that means so many of you men and women had this happen to you. Posting this here and telling my story is helping me release it all, and I will give you all an update when there is one. Quick update. So yesterday I went for a long walk and called back my mother-in-law. I didn't go into details, but I did mention that her daughter was seeing someone else behind my back for an extended period of time. She was understandably very upset and thankfully didn't try to force my hand into staying with my wife. We talked for a while and she asked me to give my wife a call, but I said I'll only do so when I'm ready to talk. I was walking over a bridge on my way back to my friend's place, and I'm not going to lie, for a split second I thought of jumping off. Told myself it would make things a lot easier. I let go of that thought immediately and kind of laughed. It's crazy what our minds can come up with. Anyway, I think either tonight or tomorrow night I will sit down with my wife and talk. I'm afraid my mind is 99% made up that I'll be asking for divorce, as I haven't been able to see any outcome where I won't be resentful towards her if we stay together. I will let her tell me everything she feels she has to say, and then we'll tell her my decision. I will post an update after we talk, I guess, depending. This is the end of the post. Now let us go over some of the top comments and responses from the original poster. Part 2. My wife and I talked. I actually didn't ask a lot of the questions that users in the original thread wanted me to ask, because I realize I don't actually want to know the answer. Anyway, the only real question I asked her is why? I asked her this before through text and told her to take a couple of days to think about it. Well, we took a walk together and talked for quite some time. Her reasoning was essentially that the other guy came on to her repeatedly and eventually she kind of fell for him. She can't really explain her feelings besides saying it was an immature, stupid decision. She said she felt bad after the first time, but after a few weeks they started seeing each other again. That she has completely cut off contact with the other guy. The whole time she talked, she was visibly upset, and I can't believe I'm saying this about my wife, but I felt nothing but anger towards her. Although I didn't raise my voice or appear angry or anything, I just wanted to have it all out. After she addressed the reasoning, I asked her what she thinks we should do. She said she barely slept the last few days and had been scouring the internet for books advice related to her actions and how she can atone. I told her that I don't think I'll ever look at her the same way again, and I don't want us to become a couple that are basically roommates. I also said that I don't think I can ever trust her again, which led her to ramble on reconciliation techniques for me to trust her again. I quickly shut that down, saying that's an insane way for both of us to leave, and neither of us would want that. I signed up to be her husband, not her prison guard. After this we kind of walked in silence for a while. I then said I think we should just rip the band-aid off and get divorced, and we can both go our separate ways. She didn't say anything, but she started crying again. I walked her to her apartment and said goodbye. She asked me if I'll ever reconsider, and I reiterated that even if I eventually forgive her for the affair, I will personally never trust her in a husband-wife kind of way ever again. I kind of regret saying this, but I said I'll never trust a woman again. I said that I would start on the divorce proceedings, and we can go from there. So, I guess that's the end of it. I haven't spoken to the other guy, although I half-heartedly hope I run into him, and he hits me first for whatever reason. The next time I talk to my wife I'll tell her that she should contact the other guy's girlfriend and let her know. So, it looks like at the age of 27, I'm going to be a divorcee. What a nice line to add on my resume. F me. Anyway, thanks for all the advice and whatnot you guys and girls shared. It did help me somewhat see things more clearly, but more importantly, letting it all out let me release some of the emotions and think more long term. I don't really feel much of anything right now, But I guess this will hit me like a truck once I officially become divorced. Current situation, so essentially, I told my wife we should split up. She asked if I would reconsider, and I said it's doubtful. We haven't yet officially proceeded with any official divorce. We both decided we should take some time before coming to a final decision. We didn't talk for a few days and then she messaged me saying that she's distraught and hates herself, and that she'll do anything to make it up to me and stay together. Saying she will quit her job, only go out to places with me, always enable GPS, etc. etc. It's the same things she said before, and I said I don't want to leave with a partner like that where I have to constantly monitor babysitter. Just doesn't feel normal to me. She's getting more and more upset, and last time we met she said things like she can't imagine herself without me in her life and that she's willing to go to hell and back to reconcile. Throughout all this, I never asked about details of the affair, only the reason she did it. She said she thought more and more about it, and that in the end the reason for her affair is that she felt unique being loved by two different men and that it was too much for her to stop. I've tried to see what I might have done, and the only thing I can think of is that I'm kind of a loner quiet guy and maybe she wanted something more. However, we always opened up to each other and went out together and there was no reason for me to think she wasn't happy. She herself has said it had nothing to do with me, and I don't know if it makes me feel better or worse. The thing is it's not like I'm the first guy she's been with or vice versa. Even though we did get married young, I thought she was way too mature to get swept up in something like this. Anyway, she keeps asking me what she can do to make up for it, and I simply can't come up with anything. I told her that no matter what, I can't look at her the same way again, and this really affected her worse than I thought. I honestly can't see the two of us ever being husband-wife again. But she keeps insisting that this will pass, and we can make it work over time. I was set on divorce, but now I don't know for sure. I truly do love her, and we always got along amazingly, right until I found out about the affair. I really never did connect with someone the way I did with her, which is also why I really don't think I can forgive her. We don't have kids and are both independent, so her pushing so much for reconciliation is making me think she actually is remorseful and regrets it and we can make it work. However, I'm still worried that I will never see her the same way again and we'll just end up hating each other down the road, when we could have gone our separate ways. Sorry, that was long. But my question is basically this: to the adulterers that had an affair even though they were overall in a good place in their relationship, did you reconcile, and have it work out? What was the reason for your affair? Was there resentment, either on your part or your partner's part? Did the relationship ever get close to where it was before? Did you or your partner ever regret getting back together? Or did you regret not trying to reconcile if you ended up separating? I'm kind of looking for answers from women, but of course men with perspective can answer as well. Thanks. Edit: I forgot to add this, but I asked her how she would react if I had an affair. And she said she wouldn't be able to handle it. The hypocrisy of this also really makes it hard for me to want to reconcile, regardless of me currently still loving her. This is the end of the post. Now let us go over some of the top comments and responses from the original poster. Reddit comment: first, let me say how very sorry I am that you're going through this. It's absolute torture. I haven't looked through your history yet. I wanted to jump in here real quick judging from your tone. I get the anger. I really do. I never knew such a rage existed until now. But please do one thing for me right now. Take 10 slow deep breaths. Right now. Close your eyes and take those breaths. Going to just assume you did. You were just 1 month out. Everything is amplified tenfold right now. Your emotions are literally running wild, and so is your mind. I have been there. I know we are all different people dealing with our own unique situations. So, I can't sit here and say, I know how you feel. Because I don't know how you feel, I just know how I felt, and the way you're describing things, it is exactly how I felt. If you have ever in your life believed in a complete and total stranger, let it be now. It does get better. I know it may not feel like it will, but it will. As sure as the sun sets in the west tonight and rises in the east in the morning, and the day after that and the day after that. And every time the sun rises in the east, you got another day under your belt. A month is very early in this process. Everything I have researched about infidelity and reconciliation suggests waiting at the very least 3 months before making any kind of life-changing decisions. 6 months is the time frame they all say should be when the hard decisions are to be made. Look, I am a 45-year-old man, and my wife is also 45. We have been married close to 25 years. We have been going through this for almost 20 months. She is the love of my life. She is the only person I have ever loved my entire life. So, you want to talk about someone being blindsided and totally devastated, right here my friend. I consider myself somewhat of a man's man, and I cried my eyes out every single day for over 7 months at least once a day, sometimes a couple times. But it gets better. I had those feelings of wondering if I would ever be able to look at her the same way. I had them for a really long time. And to be totally honest, from time to time, I still will have those random thoughts. But you know what? When I look at her 99% of the time, I see the woman I feel in love with 26 years ago. And I could never imagine it any other way. I am sorry you're having such a rough time right now. I doubt anything I can say could make you feel any better. But if you ever need to talk to someone, no matter if it's questions or just to blow off steam, I am here for you. Good luck to you. I know deep down you're strong enough to overcome this. I know you can. Response from original poster: there's simply no way I'm waiting for 3 to 6 months. I have thought enough about this. Divorce is the best solution. This is where our situations are different. From your perspective at 45, you probably look at me as a kid. You've been married for as long as I've been alive. And you had a much longer time together. That reconciling would make more sense. However, I still do question your wife, where after being with someone for 25 years, you can still betray them at this level. As I said in my original post, I think this is inevitable in marriage: boredom, followed by adultery. Also, I don't know how things were when you got married. I think in this day and age, infidelity is becoming the norm. People don't try and find solutions, they just move on to the next quick dopamine hit. Social media has really amplified this to the extreme. Marriage is close to pointless these days. I had those feelings of wondering if I would ever be able to look at her the same way. I had them for a really long time. And to be totally honest, from time to time, I still will have those random thoughts. 20 months on, and you still have those thoughts. I'm not willing to wait a second longer. There's 0% chance I will wait for close to 2 years. You just confirmed to me that I won't ever be willing to reconcile, because I won't ever be able to forget the affair. She can go have any relationship she wants now. Thanks. Reddit comment: the post is so angry. I understand that's your prerogative as the betrayal spouse and your choice. Are you really looking to understand the mentality of someone who reconciles? Response from original poster: no, I'm not. I tried reading about it, but I realized I don't want to understand the mentality, since I don't want to reconcile. This is a very one-sided attempt at reconciliation, and it sure as hell isn't for me. She is likely doing it to maintain stability in her life and will eventually find someone else once things get normal again. Thanks for staying till the end of this video. Please support the channel on Patreon.